Hello everyone, welcome to Sports Plaza. With me today I have CricCrazyNIKS and we are going to do the review for Qualifier 2 between Delhi Capitals and Kolkata Knight Riders. So Nikhil, how do you feel about both their playoff matches first?
I think we saw two very good games. Yeah, RCB got knocked out unfortunately, but I think it had to come given the way they were structured in terms of they just find a way to come out against Narain. So yeah, it's just a Narain day out for KKR, and they look very strong now. Kolkata.
And coming to DC also,
Yeah.
so DC lost in the last over match, they were bossing around and you saw vintage Dhoni. I know you're a huge Dhoni fan. And what would you say to Delhi Capital fans after that loss?
Uh, I think again, as I said, for RCB, Delhi had been doing such errors in the past in terms of the right bowling, the right batting order, and all of that. I do feel they made a mistake sending Akshar Patel up without the hindsight. You just want your best players to get as much
But I
batting
still
time out
feel
of them.
172 wasn't a bad score at all.
But
It
then
was
if you
above
see
par.
if you see the Chennai were back into the game only because Tom Curran took wickets. If not, the required run it was just eight, and had Uttapa and Gaikwad carried on, the game would have been over in the 16th or probably the 17th over max. So again, we saw the deck was so good that Hetmeyer and Pant they both put on a very good stand, and maybe I felt they could have just pushed that game a lot more earlier with the bat. And with the ball, again, a lot will be said about Rabada not bowling out, but I think
Yeah.
it was a call that Pant took based on Rabada's form and Tom Curran being the best bowler on that day. But it is just that Dhoni, the kind of player he is, he actually feeds off such kind of bowlers. They someone who's not that express pace. And see, we don't know how Rabada would have bowled to MS, and maybe it
Yeah.
would have worked out, maybe it wouldn't have. But these are the games where you want to just close it out in terms of with a better bowling effort. And I think Rabada's form will be something that Delhi will be worried about because he's not looked at his even best in the last few games.
Absolutely. Even I feel Rabada has not been performing up to its potential.
Mm,
And even when I come to Delhi's best bowlers, I'll quickly just show you,
mm,
according to me, what are the best bowlers of the two lineups.
mm.
So Rabada is still not featuring in them. And for
Yeah.
KKR, I've added Sunil Narayan specifically after last match. And how good has Varun Chakravarti been throughout the tournament? So UAE
Yeah.
pitches are really suiting him, not gone over
Yep.
seven economy in any of the 7-8 matches. And
Mm.
he's taken regular wickets for them. And the
True.
duo of Nareen and Chakravarti now added with Shakib.
Yeah.
So this deadly combo, and given that KKR just played off a match in Sharjah and they're
Yeah.
playing the qualifier two in Sharjah, I think it's gonna be advantage KKR again. And coming to DC bowlers, has Ashwin, according to you, hit the mark or is he still struggling? Because I have not seen him bowl his quota of overs also in the last few
Exactly.
matches. So what do you think DC is going to change their playing 11?
Again, as we discussed last time, it might be too big a call to not back Ashwin having played him in all the games. But I do feel Amit Mishra could get a game. Again, we don't know. We are only speculating on that front because Ashwin hasn't been used well at all in
Yeah.
terms of the matchups and everything. Like you see for KKR, even yesterday, Morgan smartly held Naren back because he knew that Naren is a disciplined bowler, and when the pressure gets to RCB, when they want to attack, he'll want to bowl Naren so that Naren, if they miss, Naren hits. And
Yeah.
yesterday was actually the first time you saw Shakib bowl so much, and Varun, as you rightly said, both of them have been economical. So they just slowed the game down completely for Naren to come in and just hit the RCB middle order. And talking about the advantage, KKR and Delhi played a earlier match in the very same ground in this edition, the 41st game where Delhi could only put up 127 on the board. So again, as we keep saying, batting first has been tricky in Sharjah because
Yeah.
you don't know what is the power score, and it just baffles me why Kohli would bat first. Again, maybe he also went by Matthew Hayden's pitch report, which said that it was a very good batting wicket. He
Yeah.
shot the Sharjah sheen, and but the only sheen was of the bowlers and not of the batsmen. So I
Absolutely.
think usage of the bowlers is where KKR stands out. In yesterday, also with the bat, you saw how Naren was sent in to just hit, and RCB were just blindfolded and they went to Dan Christian. Yes, Dan Christian is in for a role, but you want to back your best bowlers. Naren has hit you enough. you would have probably learned the lesson harsh way already. So again, it's just some of the RCB things are very hard to explain at times.
Correct. And also, even before this match, Naren had just scored 30 odd runs in 10,
Yeah.
11 innings. And yesterday, coming, hitting three sixes on three balls, I think that tilted the match completely.
Yep.
And even in bowling, he'd just taken 10 wickets yesterday, taking four wickets and dismissing the crucial batsmen, all three
True.
Maxwell, AB, and Kohli, along with Bharat. But
Yeah.
dream come true match for Naren. And
Yeah.
coming to the batsmen from both sides, it gives me immense pleasure to say all six are Indians and all
Yeah.
six are in the top four.
Yeah.
So good for India. But coming to KKR, I think Venkatesh Iyer has been a good find. Rahul Tripathi has hit scores for them. Gill in the last 3-4 matches is hitting form. Do you think is batting is still a concern for KKR?
I just feel every team has a one bad day in terms of with the bat, and KKR have not had that throughout that.
Are you jinxing
Throughout,
it then, KKR?
no, no, I'm not jinxing. I feel KKR might actually win the IPL now. And before the IPL started, I did not see them coming into the four. But now that they are into the four and Russell is still waiting, I mean, if Russell is fit and he comes to the picture, this game just lights up multifolds. And as you rightly
So
said,
do you drop Morgan or do you drop Shabkim?
I don't think they'll drop Morgan. I mean, they should have dropped him earlier if they, in that case. But I don't know. Shakib might be the one who's the sacrificial lamb in that case, because DC also have a lot of
Yeah.
left-handers in their 11. So maybe that could just be a direct swap. But as you said, Gill and Tripathi have been the ones who stabilized them at the top. And I think Venki has gone off the boil a bit, but I think it's okay because it's just his first season and he did the job for them when it was required. And the
Correct.
onus now to me is on the experienced batting of Delhi to put up a challenge as I just discussing before this that somebody like a Prithvi Shaw who looks like he's coming back to his usual best. He'll be very key against KKR. He's hit a 99 against them in the last in the recent few matches. So he averages about 60 with them. Same is the case with Iyer. These are the guys who love to play spin bowling, and
Yeah.
they will be challenged, of course, with how Varun and Naren bowl, but it is Shikhar Dhawan who I feel has to be the one who leads this attack now for Delhi because again now it's a do or die game. There is no second chance. So with the bat, I expect the senior group to lead, and with the ball they have Noki, Avesh, and everybody doing well. Now if Rabada can hit form, Delhi will feel a lot more better in going to the match.
Another key name for DCFC is Hetmeyer. As a lower
Yeah,
order finisher, he's doing an immense job. I would say very
yeah,
underrated, gone under the radar
yeah,
across the DC lineup, but he's been performing for them consistently, hitting at a 150, 160
yeah.
strike rate whenever the opportunity comes. So I feel even he'll hold the key. Even last match when
Yes,
Pant
yes.
was just starting,
Mm.
Hetmeyer was blasting it and he played really well to give Delhi that score. Now coming to some key matchups.
Yeah.
So, Nikhil, what would be some key matches from Delhi viewpoint as well as from a KKR viewpoint?
Very simply, Delhi are a team that loves to start very well. We've seen that in all the games that they have won. Whenever they have won, they've had a very solid base. Every time they haven't had that, and they have had a lost, they've lost an early wicket. They've stuttered with Iyer also not coming into his own in the last few games. The matchup will be the new ball, the power play in the Sharjah wicket. We've seen teams struggle to get a lot out of the rest of the overs. They tend to slow down. So the matchup will be what KKR throw at Delhi in the power play, both with bat and ball. If Gill and Venkatesh Iyer just go after the pacers of Delhi, then they will just set the tone for them, and then Delhi will find it hard to come back. Similarly, with the ball, in the last game, I'm just checking who bowled up top. So it was Lockie Ferguson at the start of the innings with Sandeep Warrior. So they bowled pacers against the openers. So now that Shaw is back, last game Smith opened. Again, as I keep saying, power play is the deciding factor. If Delhi
Yeah.
can get 50-60 out of the power play, they'll be set to post a good score because in Sharjah, 140, 150 is enough as of now.
I think that's been the template so far. Just go
Yeah,
hard in the first 6 overs, make 50 odd runs, and that's making about 33, 35% of your total
yeah.
score. And as you said, the Indian Delhi batters averaged
Mhm.
50 plus against KKR, doing well. And Shreyas Iyer has had a very slow last 2, 3 innings.
Mhm.
I think he holds the key along with Dhawan, as
Yep.
you said. And do you think Shivam Mavi is still going to be persistent with KKR or do you see some change?
I think they've tried a lot of Indian bowlers. They tried Prasad Krishna, and they tried Mavi before getting him back, because he's done well in even in the last game. He closed out the innings well and decently. Yes, there are a couple of no balls which seem mandatory now
Yeah,
for the KKR Indian pacer, but I don't think they'll drop anyone else unless there is an injury. So I think Mavi will be persisted with, and Shaw will like it because Shaw hit him for four,
yeah,
six, four.
for 6 fours. Yeah,
Yes,
correct.
so yeah, that will be an interesting battle to see at Sharjah.
Definitely. And this time I predict Mavi to be on top of Shaw. That's a very personal opinion.
Yep.
But today there's no match at 7:30. To all our viewers, please watch this video at 7:30. इसी में IPL का feel ले लो. And thank you, Nikhil. Thank you, Nikhil, for doing this. Thank you to all our viewers.
Anytime.
Do subscribe to Sports Taza. Thank
Yep.
you.
Thank you guys for having me. It's a pleasure.